Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. May his peace and blessings be upon the Prophet of Islam, Muhammad, Wasallam, his household followers, and all those who follow the path of Allah to the day of judgment. We thank Allah for giving us the 21st day of Ramadan, meaning we have entered into the last 10 days. And it is, this period is the most hectic period in the whole month. This morning, the subject for our morals in Ramadan is consistent strengthening of relationship with the Creator, the Almighty. I repeat, consistent strengthening of relationship with the Creator, the Almighty. I'm using the word consistent to qualify the strengthening of relationship with the Almighty, to indicate that the strengthening of our relationship with Him is a continuous process throughout life, not only in Ramadan. At the empirical level, we have different types of relationships. We have a relationship with the Creator, the Almighty. We have a relationship with the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We have a relationship with oneself. We have a relationship with parents. We have a relationship with the wife. We have a relationship with children. We have a relationship with relatives. And we have a relationship with others in society. And even with the physical environment that we live in. How do we deal with that environment? So these are types of relationship human beings have in life. But this morning, we want to look at the consistent strengthening of relationship with the Creator. We have spoken a lot about at-taqwa. We have spoken a lot about renewal of commitment to the Almighty. How do we consistently strengthen our relationship with Him, such that beyond Ramadan we are still there for Him, day and night and at all times? But how can this be done? We need to develop an unwavering faith in the Creator. We need to develop an unwavering faith in the Creator. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke about the behavior of believers, He described them in the Quran that they are a category of people that when they are told about even circumstances that should weaken their iman, Allah says, Zadathum imana. Their faith in Him even increases. Faith in the Almighty strengthens the heart, the spirit, the body, the mind, and gives the human self the kind of empowerment he needs to have to face the vicissitudes of life. Number two, for us to strengthen our relationship with Allah continuously, we need to always reflect on the fact that we are His creatures and we are His servants. And for that matter, He has described us in the following words: وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Allah speaking. I have not created al-jinn and men except to worship me. So constantly, we need to exhibit humility and reflect on the fact that we are continuously his servants till death, and even beyond death. That relationship continues because we are going to stand before him for accountability. The Quran in 17 says, وَلَا تَخْفُ مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِعِلْمٍ, that do not poke your nose into that which does not concern you. إِنَّ السَّمْعَ, because the hearing, وَالْبَصَرَ, and the eyes, the sight, وَالْفُؤَادَ, and the heart, كُلٌّ أُولَئِكَ كَانَ عَنْهُ مَسْئُولًا, they are all going to be accountable to the Almighty. So as a servant of Allah, accountability should drive everything that you do in this world. And then number 3, it is not only in Ramadan, as I have earlier indicated. We have to consistently worship him, taking the form of praying on time, reading of the Quran. These are daily activities we have to be doing. Praying on time, reading of the Quran, doing some adhkar, remembrance of Allah, Qiyam al-Layl, waking up post midnight prayer, performance of nawafil like Salat al-Duha around 6:30 a.m., 7 a.m. before you leave for work, just to do 2 rak'ah. And then if you have something to achieve, you have a task to pursue, don't move into the task. Do what we call Salat al-Istikhara, only 2 rak'ah. You can do it even in your office. You can do it even after Isha. You do 2 rak'ah to ask Allah's intervention into what you want to do. Then number 4, man is always torn apart by his inner desires for unwarranted love for pleasure, and on top of pleasure is sexual promiscuity. Zina is tormenting people. Zina is tearing societies apart. Zina is bringing untold hardships on people. Look at what Corona is doing to us. We have allowed zina to become like a chewing stick. Is it on TV? Is it on the internet? Is it in magazines? Is it in newspapers? Wherever you turn, you find zina standing there, trying to test the belief of the believers. And then number 2, the love for wealth. If you are running after wealth, think about this statement, which I consider to be a big one. Well, you either live it or it lives you. So think about that. Let the wealth you are pursuing, you're looking for, be in your hand, and use it for the cause of the Almighty. And then number 3, love for power. All these manifestations of unwarranted love and blind love are driven by devilish inner desires. And Ibn Abbas said, Ibn Abbas was one of the followers of the Prophet. He said, the greatest enemy of man is his desires, what the person wants, and does not check whether what he's trying to do falls in line with the dictates of the Almighty. Number 5, consistently spend whatever you have, no matter how small it is. Spend some, apportion some for servicing society, for serving Allah. Then number 6, study Islam and spread the word of Islam. Study Islam and spread the word of Allah, because you can only understand and know the purpose of Allah's creation through knowledge. There is no way we can worship Allah with ignorance. That is why in Surah Muhammad, Allah instructed the Prophet, فَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ, that you, the Prophet, you should know that there is no God worthy of worship except Allah. If the Prophet was being instructed to know, so knowledge first, which will deepen our understanding of the religion, which will deepen our understanding of the Creator and His purpose for human life. So knowledge is very crucial. Knowledge will help us understand our relationship with the Almighty. And then we should also know that spreading the word of Allah is not the responsibility of only Muslims. Spreading the word of Allah is the responsibility of every Muslim. And towards the end of Quran chapter 12, the following words have been mentioned by Allah. Allah states, Kul, instructing the Prophet, Kul, say, Hadi sabili, this is my way. Ad'u ila Allahi ala basira. I invite all to the way of Allah through spiritual light. The basira there is interpreted by scholars as spiritual light, wisdom, insight, evidence, and so on and so forth. Ala basira. That I call people to the way of Allah with evidence. Ana Muhammad sallallahu wa man ittaba'ani, and whoever follows me. So if a Muslim doesn't have the spread of Allah as part of his life, he has cheated himself, because the reward therein is unimaginable. And after all, because you and I have been created because of this task, we have big questions in the sight of Allah. I remember last 2 years, I told my gathering at the tafsir at the police mosque 2019 that doing dawah in modern times falls on professionals. Why? Because they are more enlightened. They understand events of our time. They understand how institutions operate. And again, they are also resourceful. They are paid at the end of the month. I know of Brother Abdullah. He's the leading computer scientist of British Telecom. He has a group of Muslim professionals. They work for their state departments from Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, they move into the countrysides to spread the word of Allah. And they are professionals, engineers, doctors, architects, and the rest. This time, it is the professional who does the work of spreading Islam. The Malam, you can't blame him. By virtue of his preparation, is not cut for dawah in these challenging times. Number 2, who is taking care of the Malam? Malams are living very miserable lives. Therefore, making a passionate appeal to those who have the resources to support Malams and scholars who have dedicated their lives to the spread of this religion. No matter how weak some of them may be, A Malam wakes up in the morning and does not even know how he's going to get his breakfast. Meanwhile, some of us, some of the businessmen are sitting on millions. Adopt 1 or 2, 3, 4 Malams from time to time. Support them. Put some of them on your company's salary and give them confidence to do Allah's work. They have been the pillars of the spread of this religion. Finally, to strengthen consistently our relationship with Allah, wherever we are, we need to have Allah consciousness. We should be thinking of the fact that He's watchful of everything that we do, and that وَمَا رَبُّكَ بِظَلَّامٍ لِلْعَبِيدِ. He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never be unjust towards His servants. He will exercise His mercy on us, His compassion on us, so long as we continuously dedicate our lives to Him. May He grant us that and grant us the best in this world and in the hereafter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.